So the strategy that I wanted to talk about today is the model talk. This is a verbal and a physical demonstration of directions, what you want the student to do. This is chapter 3, page 33 of our textbook, 50 Strategies. And I just want to explain what that looks like. So there are 5 steps to the model talk, and each step is very important. Now step 1 is where we're going to gather all of the materials that we need for our lesson. It's really important because you don't want to be doing this while you're instructing. It really takes that time away. So so with this step 1, we're going to gather our materials and have everything ready before our instruction. So what I decided to do for my model talk was we're going to read this story, A Home for Hermit Crab, and then the students are going to create their own home for their own hermit crab. So you need to make sure that all the materials are gathered before. So the students are going to need one paper plate. They're going to need scissors, crayons or markers, that's up to you. If you want the students to use markers, they can. They're going to need a pencil. They're going to need glue. And they're also going to need a piece of red paper. I use cardstock just because it's thicker, but if you just have paper, that's fine too. So step 1 is just to make sure that you have all of your materials gathered prior to the instruction. Next is you, as the instructor, as the teacher, you're going to want to practice how you're going to model your talk. So what are your hand gestures going to look like? How are you going to physically demonstrate the directions to the student? So that's a good way to practice is this, or you can practice in front of your own children in the mirror, however you feel comfortable, but practice does make perfect in this case. So the next is to design a visual, which is what I did. So anytime that students are working on a project, it's always nice for them to be able to see what a completed project should look like. It doesn't take long. So this is my home for hermit crab. So anytime the kids need to refer back to what they're doing, they have a visual here of the completed project. So they'll have an idea of what theirs might look like. All right, so also you are going to want to have step 4 is directions in order. So I'm not sure if you can see this. I'm just going to come up close with it for a little bit or for a second. So these are all of the steps that I'm going to want the students to take when completing their hermit. So step 1 was to fold the paper plate in half, and they're going to have to glue the sides down. So as you're talking about that, you can have your own paper plate. Show them you're going to fold your paper plate in half. You're talking and modeling at the same time. This is not taking up extra time. Then they're going to glue it. So you're going to take the glue, put it on the sides, and just hold it there for a second for it to stick. And I drew pictures so they can visually see as well and what I'm doing. Step 2 is to trace their hand onto the red paper. So they're going to take the red paper. They're going to put their hand on it. It doesn't matter left or right. They're going to trace their hands, and they can see you doing it. They'll know exactly what to do. And then they're going to take the scissors and they're going to cut out the hand. Then and I drew a picture depicting that also. Step 3 is going to be to cut out the hand. Step 4, they're going to take the hand and they are going to glue it to the side of their hermit crab. So you can see my hand and the side of the hermit crab, that's where they're going to glue it. And then they're basically going to use the crayons or markers to add the eyes and the directions decorations to the hermit crab. The idea is the hermit crab shell is not supposed to be plain. So they can decorate that any way that they wish. The other thing that I have up here that when I'm teaching a group I use all the time, I like to order the steps and then I like them to match my directions. So step 1 is a little bit different on this side. It's going to be that they're going to fold the paper plate in half. So something that I might do is just kind of draw the paper plate right here and they'll know, and I'll say fold. And they'll know that step 1 is going to be to fold. Then I add this step 2, and I look at my papers to trace their hand. So I'm going to add a little hand right here, and that's going to be step 2. These are just, I have cards, but these are not cards that we use every day, so sometimes I just add them with marker. Step 3 is going to be to cut out the hand. So I'll add the cut picture to step 3. step 4 is going to be glue the hand on the paper plate. So I'm going to add the glue. And then 5 is going to be decorate. So I might just draw maybe what the hermit shell is supposed to look like with the decorations. And then step 6, usually this is step 1, but for this activity, I didn't want them to write their name on the wrong side, so the last thing we're doing is writing our name. So now if they forget what they're supposed to do, actually I might even just add color here. They can always look up at the board and see, hey, I finished step 1, I need to go to step 2. And this is my last favorite. This is read a book. Anytime kids are finished early, instead of getting up or saying they're finished, they know the last step is to read a book. And then the last step in our model talk is going to be where you actually observe the students as you model talk. You're really going to ask yourself, does something need to be remodeled? Do I need to do like a reteach? Did they forget that they needed to cut the hand out before they glue it onto the shell? And also ask follow-up questions. Ask students about what they're doing. Also, maybe they have questions about the model that you've given them as well. So yeah, but this is my favorite strategy. Children really love, they can make that connection to what you're telling them to what they really should be doing. So thank you.